Blackstone co-founder Stephen Schwarzman launching a $300 million scholarship program in China. It is the single largest philanthropic gift in China's history, coming from foreign donors. People are comparing it to the Rhodes Scholarship. And joining us now on the set this morning to talk about that and the markets, Steve Schwarzman, chairman and CEO
on set.
Blackstone Group. He is here. You can touch him.
Oh, he's here.
There he is.
That's exactly
great.
He was just in China giving away $300 million.
Hey, what? You must be on the China time zone. Usually you're either exercising or asleep, right?
Well, that's true, but I'm here today.
Really good.
Let's talk about the scholarship for a moment. It's a $300 million scholarship. You put $100 million in. You raised another $100 million already, and
right.
you're on your way to raising the last $100 million. And you have an advisory board that beats every advisory. I mean, the names, I think we might have a screen where we can put up some of the names in a moment. How did you decide to do this?
Well, it's an interesting thing. I'm on the board of the Tsinghua School of Economics and Management, which is in effect their business school. It's one of the top 2 universities in China. And the president of the university approached me a few years ago and said they'd like to get more foreign students. Would I have an interest in helping them? And actually, I wasn't sure. I have a lot of things in my day job. And I thought about it, and they were trying to celebrate their 100th anniversary. Well, the 100th anniversary came and went, and I didn't do anything. They didn't really pursue it. And then about a year and a half ago, they had a change at the top there, and the new president, President Chen, came to see me and said, "What do you think?" And I started looking at the world. I saw the enormous growth of China and the complete stalling out of the West, particularly in Europe. You had China growing at 3 times the rate of the developed world. And I saw the increasing unhappiness in different societies in the West, this kind of tension, anger, and eventually that gets directed to the winner of the game. And with China creating 10 million jobs a year, Europe creating net nothing, U.S. unemployment and underemployment close to 14%, it became clear to me that if you continue this type of approach for very long, let alone for decades, you were going to have acting out, anger, unhappiness, and potential for trade tensions, economic tensions, military tensions. And you can see that happening already just between China and Japan, almost instantaneously. And I was looking for a way to try and defuse and deal with this problem on a generational basis. And I tried to figure out how could you attract great students to China to learn what they're doing so that they can go back to their countries and interpret what was happening in China, but also feed back to China when they were doing something that didn't seem to make sense. So what I did is I sort of came across just thinking about the Rhodes program and the enormous impact that the Rhodes, with 84 students a year, has. And you look at what Bill Clinton has done by way of impact. And if you go through the list of those people, it's pretty remarkable. So I figured if we could attract the same caliber of people to go to China, learn that, and then feed back in their societies what was going on, this is a good thing. And so that's how it happened, and that's the way
I read
structured.
I read the great line at the end of the New York Times article when you first announced this news that you had applied for a Rhodes Scholarship.
I did. I didn't get anywhere. And, you know, I don't know what that says about me. It probably may have been a good judgment at the time for them. And I also tried to get a scholarship to Cambridge for 2 years. I thought that would be really interesting. Life takes its strange turns, and I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if I had done those things for 2 what turned out to be critical years in the evolution of finance. Nonetheless, it's a really good thing to attract people to learn. I say, you know, a little sentence about that China's no longer an elective course. It's core curriculum. You know that on this program from covering people around the world on a regular basis. But most Americans and most Europeans don't spend their time thinking about the 2nd largest economy in the world and the largest populous country in the world.
Let me ask you a question I don't really want to ask you, because I find anytime anyone's cynical at all about philanthropy, it's ridiculous. And I got very upset about it 2 years ago when everyone was giving Mark Zuckerberg a hard time when he gave all this money to Newark, and they said it was distracting. He was trying to distract from his movie or whatnot. There have been these articles, you may have read some, that said, you know, you made this great contribution to China, and Blackstone does a lot of business in China. The Chinese government invested in Blackstone. Just respond to it, because I think it's just worthy only because there seems to be all this stuff out there, even though I personally sort of hate the whole idea.
Actually, Andrew, there's not so much stuff, which has surprised me, that this has been perceived in a almost universally very positive way. Well, what I'd say about that is, question that you asked is, we have a terrific relationship with people in China, and nobody needed to throw $300 million on a table to get somebody's attention. There are other things one can do with one's life. It's not exactly geographically close. It is halfway around the world. So this involves conference calls, videos at night or very early in the morning. It's not the easiest thing to achieve. And so what I would say is this was just a situation, an opportunity that was presented as a result of some of those factors. Had I been living my life in like a normal way, I wouldn't be thinking about things like this. But I've had the opportunity to go there a lot, observe things, see how people in the West react to China. So in that sense, it was a happy accident and gave me the opportunity to marshal resources, both financial and educational, because there are a lot of great academics around the world involved with this.
When does the program start?
It starts in June of 2016.
And the first students will be from what schools?
Well, you know, we're going to have 20% Chinese kids, 45% from the U.S. and 35% from the rest of the world, basically sorted among the top 20 economies, roughly, of the world. And so we'll probably start at less than 200 students. We'll get to 200 as quickly as we can. And that'll give us 10,000 students over a lifetime. If you imagine 10,000 really unusual people, and it doesn't have to be a leader in politics. It can be politics, business, the arts, academics, not-for-profit, and even the media. And so when you get thought leaders really immersed in what by that time, 20 years, seems logical that China will be the largest economy in the world, that'll be sort of a very interesting phenomenon.